couldn't go.
Well, I think
I couldn't go because I couldn't go.
Yeah, that's okay. So do you have any other questions about it?
Did you see anybody? Was there a hole?
A hole?
Yeah.
Like where?
Like when you was going to...
No, he was just relaxing in his bed.
What else happens?
That's it. He just says goodbye and that's it.
His hands start, like, to disappear slowly?
No, he's not going to disappear. So,
No, like up there.
no, he's just going to watch us from up in the sky now.
How can up in the sky see everything?
I can't explain that because I really don't know, son. I just know that our family members, when they die, that they're just always watching us and they're always looking out for us. But I want to tell you, he was a really hard worker and he built some really amazing things.
Like all the showers.
All these houses, all kinds of houses he built all by himself. And he had such an amazing life. And so he just wants to make sure that me and mom and you and Damien and all of our cousins and family, that we just work hard and that we spend as much time as we can with our family. And that's all he asked us to do.
There's something.
Sure.
Before he even died.
Yeah, what?
Well, how could people die?
How could they? They just get older and their body just tells them, hey, that's it. It's time to go. But he was very old. He was 94 years old. He lived an amazing life, so long. You know that your middle name, Alejandro, that's Grandpa Alex's name, right? So now you know that, you'll always remember him because you have his name. Yeah. And so then, hopefully when you think about your middle name, then I hope that you'll think about Grandpa Alex. And I'll be very happy if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Let's Ride listeners? This is a very personal episode of mine, something that I've been putting off basically since I started this podcast. We're now in episode 22, which is crazy to think. But these are just recordings. I've always wanted to know the story of my grandpa and grandpa in terms of their business and how they got started, how they became entrepreneurs. And a couple years ago, we had found out that my grandfather had dementia, and I really wanted to capture his thoughts on this. And so going all the way back to 2017, when we would talk, I would just pull out my phone and hit record and just start capturing those memories. And I've been sitting on them for a long time, and I finally went through them and I decided that I was ready to share this deeply personal story with you guys. I feel like there's a lot of good pieces that we can all relate to. Thank you guys for being great listeners, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Well, that's a good business then, but okay, again, everything that I bought, they almost begged me to buy it at whatever price. But now, at that time, like I tell you, there was just like what do they call it? There's
More demand than supply.
Right. Shoot at.
Right.
Because everybody wants the same.
Right. It's much harder.
And that's what's happened.
That's what I'm telling you. So
at the time, I give it to you for 1,000, 10,000. Well, how about none? How about any,
Yeah.
Okay, I think, but that was one of,
But no, like you said, everybody's trying to do that now. So, but there's no good deals anymore.
I know. There's a lot of them doing what I did. Digo, deals que no puedo despreciar.
That's what I'm telling you. It's too hard. Those types of deals, they don't exist anymore.
I know, but if you have the money in your pocket, yes, for some reason, they come. So we have money, the veras.
Our guest today is a very special guest. Imagine starting life bagging rice in paper sacks at a grocery store run by your family at just 9 years old, and then carrying that work ethic into a lifetime of building businesses from scratch with your partner, your husband. From liquor stores to apartment complexes, from bookkeeping to painting entire apartment units by yourself after hours, she never saw obstacles, only opportunities. Her story is one of grit, family, and an unstoppable drive to create a better life. It's also a reminder that behind every thriving business is someone willing to sacrifice, persevere, and still make space for joy and family time. Today, we get to hear stories firsthand, the lessons learned, and the legacy that continues to inspire future generations of her family. Our guest today is my grandmother, Connie Castellanos.
let's ride on through the rain. Come on and take me anywhere that you wanna be. So let's ride.
Where to start? I don't even know. But let's start all the way at the beginning. And I want to start with your dad, who I believe was an entrepreneur, owned a grocery store in Santa Barbara, Carpinteria, and just kind of get your thoughts on what it was like growing up with an entrepreneurial minded father. Did he work for a company at some point and then become an entrepreneur? Was he always an entrepreneur? Like what was it like growing up with your dad?
Well, growing up, to start with, my father was in his early 30s when his father had a surprise heart attack, massive heart attack, and he died. He had started his store in Santa Barbara, and it was mainly a grocery store and a lot of Mexican products, which they didn't have at that time. He started it. There's a picture there. It's 1904 where he started his first grocery store. And my dad is in one of those prams or buggies, and he's just born. He was born in 1904. So all he knew, he was the only son. They did have another little boy, my grandparents, but he died young. And so my dad was the oldest and the only boy.
So your dad then had an example from the very beginning, from when he was basically an infant, of his dad being an entrepreneur. And so I'm assuming then he grew up around that. And did your grandfather have that store pretty much your dad's whole life, or?
Well, this is what happened. My dad, my parents married in, I think it was 1929. And so, of course, my grandfather already had this grocery store. So then my dad and my mom decided they'll open a store because their family is all living off one store. And usually it's not a good idea for the children to try to live the life that their parents are living.
Mm-hmm.
And one store is not going to make it for 2-3 families to be living.
Right.
And so they decided they would start a store. Same name, Osuna's. First customer walks in and he wants to buy a sack of beans. Well, they only had one sack. So my mother thinks, okay, we'll deliver it to you tomorrow morning. Because now they had time to go get another sack of beans. That's the way they got started. They found out they had a really good business going.
It's almost, you're making it sound almost like for your dad, it was just kind of because he had grown up with a father who was an entrepreneur. He goes through his life, gets married, all that it was almost just inevitable that he was going to become an entrepreneur because that's what he knew.
That's what he knew. He had only gone to the 6th grade.
Right.
But he liked to read a lot. And so he would get into these manuals, I guess you can call them, where you could study. And he got one that was how to cut meat, how to be a butcher by the book. Mm-hmm. And he read about it, and I guess he got he must have bought the set of how to, and then there was a test, and he took it, and now he could cut a side of beef.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he learned how to be a butcher. And from what I learned, a little bit that I saw, was that Mexican people like certain cuts of meat. Mm-hmm. That you don't find in the mostly big markets. So he learned how to do that, and that was part of why his business grew, because he had a meat department and fruit and vegetables.
Right. What do you remember early on about their experience of just like seeing your parents running a business that they own? Like, what do you remember about that?
Well, what do you mean? Like, well, they were working.
Right.
But they had a life. They didn't throw themselves into the business totally because...
So do you think that did anything stick with you in those days? Like, did you think to yourself, like, this is great, I want to do this when I get older? Or were your parents saying, oh no, we want you to go study and find a different career? Like, what was that like?
No, it never occurred to me. When we moved to Santa Barbara, by then I knew everything about the store, or so I thought.
How old were you?
I was 9 years old.
And you knew everything. You knew everything about the store?
Oh yeah, I knew
like the
everything.
Bookkeeping, the inventory, the everything.
Everything.
Wow.
I'd go when I get out of school. It's either go clean the house or go to the store and work a little while. And there was always something to do.
So as you got older, did either one of your parents encourage you and say, we want you to take over the store one day, or we want you to further your education? Like, were they pushing you in any direction?
No, they really didn't. I just loved school.
And when you graduated from high school, you were studying different subjects, did you start to have a sense of what you wanted to do for a living?
No, what I wanted to do was I wanted to be a nurse. And my dad didn't think that was a good deal. He said nurses had to do a lot of things that weren't appropriate for a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to study X-ray. I was almost finished when I decided to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I was 19 when I got married.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't finish the X-ray that I had started. Just needed testing. Anyway, it was very different.
Right.
The way it was done then to the way it is now.
And when you got married, what was your plan? How are you guys going to make money? So if you were going to be an
I
X-ray...
had no clue.
Okay.
I had been brought up, I didn't need anything. And by the way, my dad never even paid me. I went every day, and on Saturdays I worked all day. And I never got a pay, but I tell Dad I need money, and he'd right away, how much do you need? And he'd give me. So I really didn't look at it as a job. I looked at it as helping my parents.
Right.
It didn't occur to me. My cousin lived with us, and she got paid. And I saw it, and it never occurred to me that I should get it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the funny thing is, my dad didn't think that way. He grew up working, and of course, he didn't get paid. He ended up being the boss because his father died. And so when my brother grew up, he couldn't understand why he didn't want to work. And so he asked my husband, this guy doesn't want to go to work. I don't know what to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband said, do you pay him? What? Yes. Does he have a wage? Does he get paid? No, I give him whatever he needs. Well, that's a young man needs to have money for his car to go. My brother loved to go surfing. So then my dad thought, wow, that's something new. And so he started paying my brother, and then my brother was willing to work.
Shocking, huh?
He got shocked.
Yeah.
And he was used to me just going all happy. And I was very happy.
And with Grandpa Alex coming into the picture, what do you think it was about him that drew you to him, that made you feel like that was going to be a good partner for you?
You mean like he had plans. He had goals. He never talked about them. Okay. His brother he was older, 2 years older. And he would say, well, when I'm such and such an age, I want to have this. He had it all planned.
So you knew Grandpa had a plan, but you didn't know the details of the plan.
No, my husband didn't have a plan. Uh-huh. He would just listen.
Oh, I see.
Maybe he did have a plan, but it was in his head.
He didn't talk
about it.
I see.
So he worked. He didn't want me to work. So he had 2 jobs. He'd go from one to the other, and then on the weekends, he'd go to a gas station and work, close up. And
he had 3 jobs.
3 jobs on the weekends.
Okay, so he didn't want you to work. And what were, just so everyone knows, so one was a gas station clerk, what else?
Yeah, he knew mechanic. He could fix cars, and he was working for a place that made doors. Mm-hmm. They called them Hollywood doors. They had the window on top, and they're using them for kitchens.
Yeah.
That was something new. The kitchen door that had a window.
Okay.
And so he was good at it. He'd fix.
Do you think? 3 jobs. That's a lot, right? Did you ever get a sense that? Seemed like he was under a lot of pressure. Was he placing a lot of pressure on himself, or like how was he?
Well, I'm going to say something. I never heard him say he was tired. He'd get up with music. His alarm the radio had a alarm, and the radio would go on. He'd go to work singing, except if he couldn't find his keys to the car because one of the kids had moved the car.
Oh boy!
Didn't put the keys where they belong, or the comb. He had to have his comb and his things in a certain place, and if they weren't there, all the lights were turned on. He'd raise hell. Otherwise, he was a very happy person, and he never complained.
Mm-hmm.
And he got home, he'd fix somebody's car. Or, of course, when he wanted something for the first house we bought, his friends were there, putting a window for him, putting the door. And that's how he learned.
Mm-hmm.
His dad was a person that was very handy. My dad, he was a business guy and he didn't know how to fix anything.
Right.
So that was a difference.
Right.
But Alex had grown up with his dad doing, and there was 10 of them, 5 boys and 5 girls. And so they were all hardworking, but he was always happy. He'd come home happy. And that was our life. We'd go out, we'd go to a park, whatever we could afford.
Well, it sounds like he just, maybe it was his personality or because he had no choice to just constantly be moving. Like it sounds like what you're describing, it's not like he was coming home, having dinner, and then kicking back and watching a baseball game. He was constantly doing something.
We'd go to the park and the kids would ride their bikes or we'd take a lunch. We didn't have money to be fooling around with going to expensive places. But our neighbors had a projector and they'd have home movies.
Mm-hmm.
And our house had a big wall. And so that was a screen for the movies. And my husband and the neighbor, they'd go buy ice cones, big bucket of ice cones. And we'd have it and watch home movies. And that was our entertainment. But it made it seem like we were having a good time there.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it. At any point, did he communicate to you that he wanted for something? It sounds like he was a hard worker, right? But did he communicate, hey, this is like the path that I want to go?
It all started, his parents were now living in Mexico, Guadalajara. And every time we go, he said, I'm giving my dad money to put in the bank because the interest was very good at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, that way when we go, we'll have money to spend.
Uh-huh.
And to start with, he said, and I'm going to give you my check, my 40 hours that I work, I'm going to give them to you.
Mm-hmm.
Rain or shine, work or no work, you're going to have it. But if I work overtime, that's going to be mine.
Okay.
I said, fine. I didn't care.
Yeah.
It was plenty. 40 hours.
Right.
And so I made it work. So, of course, then summer would come. You want to go here? You want to go there? Well, yeah. And he'd take us.
Yeah.
It was on him.
Right.
So it worked. It worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
But he was saving money. And then he got the bright idea. Where we lived, there was a liquor store right on Atlantic Boulevard. And he, at the time, he was working his jobs. He wasn't going to...
So up to this point, he had been working for other people.
Yes, always.
Collecting a paycheck.
Yes.
So this is the first time
So he wants to buy this liquor store because my sister was married and her husband had lost his job. So he thought, I'll buy this liquor store and my brother-in-law can work. And I was against it, totally against it.
Okay.
Because I had learned by my dad having a store that if he wasn't there, it wasn't working. Of course, him and my mother.
Right.
So it got to where if he wanted to go on a vacation, I would go. I would go and run the store for him. So anyway, I was expecting my youngest son at the time. And so I was totally against him buying it. But he didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
So he asked his father to send him the money to a bank in Tijuana.
Okay, so that's the money you had mentioned. He had put money down in a bank in Mexico because the interest was really good.
Yeah.
Now he's pulling that money
So
out.
he's got 40,000.
Whoa.
And I don't even know that he had that much.
And this is like what year?
He was doing it every year. When we'd go on vacation, he takes extra money. He's saving the money. He's not throwing it.
Right.
His money and I don't even know how much it is.
Okay.
He has a partner and they go and they buy this 12-unit apartments.
Well, wait, first there's the liquor store first or
No, it was the apartments.
Oh, okay. So the money came out of Mexico.
No, but that was the apartments. It was his partner had some money and Alex had a little bit, but not much. But they pulled it together and they bought it. And it was $135,000. And to us, it was a lot of money.
For a 12-unit apartment complex.
That was, to me, I couldn't even sleep at night because I thought, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We had paid $11,000 for our house.
Was that one, again, did he talk to you about that or did he just do that? Did he just make that
Well,
decision?
he did and he didn't. He just got all excited about it and he wanted it.
Okay. When he bought it, so he took a bunch of money that he had saved up with a partner. He buys this huge apartment complex that stretches you guys really thin. I'm assuming he's working his day job still, and then he's going there and...
They were both working.
Yeah.
And I'll go into it right now.
Okay.
But right now, I'm going to tell you about the liquor store.
Okay.
So, we already owe all this. And I decide, how can I put it? I thought, the worst thing that can happen is we'll lose the apartments if we can't make the payment. The payment was $600 a month and the rents were $60, which...
Pretty tight.
It was very tight.
Yeah.
So we need a heater. What do you mean, a water heater? And how much is that going to cost? Well, we don't have money. Well, Wayne and Alex were still working. They had their jobs. So they bought. But anyway, I learned I had no idea how to be a landlord.
Yeah.
No idea. And neither did Alex and neither did Wayne. Never had any experience.
Yeah.
And somebody's moving. They want their security. What do you mean security? I didn't even know. And yes, I looked through the papers. Yes, there was a whole sheet that had gone into the bank, but we had used all the money we had.
Yeah.
And so, oh my God, we have to come up with
$60.
whatever. 20 or something like that. Some ridiculous, but to 120 was a lot.
Yeah.
His check was $60 a week. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we're thinking. That's our thinking. So anyway, he pulls this money that he's got in Mexico and we go to the bank in Tijuana because he's going to buy that. And so we happen to know. So then my sister and her husband, they took over the liquor store. They didn't have experience at all. And after 6 months, I had my son, Ricardo. And when he was 5 months old, they said they just could not go on, that it was too much, too many hours. And it just wasn't working for him.
Right.
And so now my husband is panicked because he can't leave his job yet.
Right.
And he has his liquor store and now he doesn't know what to do. So I tell him, I guess I can do it, but I don't know anything about liquor.
Right.
But it was a store, something like the 7-Elevens are now.
Right.
And so I got a sitter for my 5-month-old baby. And I have two kids in high school, 2 in grammar school, and 1 at home. And I have to open the store 7 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
And we had it for 10 years. And so now back to the apartments. Somebody would move out and his partner, my husband and his partner would go clean, patch anything that was broken, replace anything, and they'd patch everything. And then guess what? When somebody would relieve me at the store, I'd go paint. And one day I would paint the latex, the 2 bedrooms and the living room. And the next day I would go paint the kitchen, the bathroom, and the trim. And then I'd just leave I wouldn't clean anything. I'd just leave it there. The heck with it. They could do it when they came home. And I'd go home and meet all my problems that I had with my kids.
Make dinner and do all that. So what I'm hearing is you guys are just stretched incredibly thin, not just financially, but also just from the hours in the day to be able to balance.
Oh, it was all day. It was an all day thing.
All day, every day.
And the next day I opened at 7 and my husband would leave at 5. And then he'd shower. When he came home, he would eat and shower and go to the store.
And this went on for 10 years.
Well, no, after a while, business was good, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It was very good.
The apartment and the liquor store were good.
Pardon me?
Both the liquor store and the apartments were both doing well.
Well, the apartments were always rented.
Yeah. There
were 2 bedrooms. And, people would, little by little, we'd learn that, they couldn't have just a couple, or we were careful about who was there. And for them, we hardly ever put a sign because people stayed. And we treated them Well, I say we, but I never went. I only went to paint.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the people, but I would do all the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
I do the bookkeeping, and then they would go buy stuff, and where's that? Where's the other? Aside from, I'm doing the bookkeeping for the store.
Yeah.
But my cousin, who was a lawyer, Tommy, lived in Santa Barbara, and he showed me a lot of things, how to do a lot of things. So going back, everything was going okay. Now, during that time, I had 2 babysitters. One stayed 3 years, and then the other one stayed another 3 years. And then Ricardo was in school, so now everybody's in school. And the boys would take turns. They were in high school, Artie and Eddie I'm talking about. And one would help. They'd come home together. One would go and load up the refrigerators and get all the supplies. And the other one would go home and hopefully study. Then the next day, the other one would go.
Right.
Because they had to keep up their...
I'm trying to think about my own journey now. I think what I'm doing is hard, but then I hear your story and it doesn't sound so hard after all. But, I find myself, working, like Grandpa, a 40-hour work week, for somebody, and then trying to do things on the side because that's kind of what I saw you guys. And, that was the example I had. So, of course, the first thought when I came into some money and saved and managed my money well was, I got to buy a property. That's what I saw my grandparents do. And I know that that's a guaranteed path to success. And so I did that. And,
anything you do has problems, no matter what they tell you. Anybody, if you have a business, in Spanish, there's a saying, if you have a business, take care of it. If you're not taking care of it, sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're the boss and you're the one that has the business.
Yeah.
It isn't the workers. They could care less.
Yeah. Well, I think, I understand that part. And I would say I've had this little bit of like rebellious side of me. And so when I first started working a corporate job, the first couple of years, I really struggled with it because I always saw myself being an entrepreneur. But I didn't, like kind of your story, I didn't know the first thing about how to start a business, what kind of business. So I felt it best at that time to go into the business world, use my college degree and get my footing, learn some skills, and then see where I can go from there. But I didn't like being in this, okay, you have to be here from this time to this time. This person's going to tell you what to do all the time and you have to follow these orders.
Because, okay, the important thing, if you have a business like we had, you have to open. If you say you're going to open at 7, you better be open at 7 because people are going to run in. They think you're open. And if you're closed and you're not opening until 7:30 or 8 or until you feel like it, they're not going to go anymore because the markets, they open at a certain hour. So they can go, like I told my sons, they'd get a little flippy with people. Go, look, what we sell here, they sell it in every corner.
Right.
We're selling personality, help, and they're getting what they want fast. And they came in here running. They're not shopping. Yeah. They're coming here and running because they know what they need and they want it now, and they want it to be open.
Yeah.
And so a couple of times we'd go someplace, they'd come home. It's a Sunday and it's 6:00 and they're closed. How come you closed? Well, there was no business. Oh man, that would get me so angry. Yeah. If you say you're going to close at noon, close at noon.
So Grandma, when now I'm going to fast forward a bunch, but basically you had the liquor store, you had this apartment complex, it starts to build. Now you buy another property and another property and another property, right? You kind of figure out this formula, right?
Okay. We were renting he bought the business, but we were renting the building. I think it was only like 200, 250, something like that. It was just a building. It had parking in the back for maybe 2 cars. And there was an empty lot next door. So my husband, he's always there looking and he wanted to buy it. But it was one of these places, it had gotten mixed up with probate. People had died. It was a mess. And there it stood, the whole corner. Our clients were using it to park. So one day, the sign goes up for sale. Now, we already had the liquor store maybe 5 years. And all of a sudden, it goes for sale, and my husband bought it. And I don't even know how much he paid. He just went ahead and did this because he had money.
You say you guys had money.
No, because we're living off. He's still giving me his check of 40 hours.
Yeah.
He's still giving it to me. But now I'm dipping into the store because the store is doing real well. Kids are getting paid. We're living off it, really.
Yeah.
Except for fresh things I'd go buy. And so he's got money. And he bought the empty lot. And he didn't say too much. I mean, he told me he bought it and I signed papers and what have you.
Okay, so if I just can summarize this a little bit, it's very hardworking, very good at saving money, very good at being opportunistic, finding deals or just keeping your eye out for different opportunities that make sense. And when they come around, being prepared to take advantage of that opportunity.
Well, yeah. I read the book of Ina Garden. She's a cook. She writes recipes and had a thing on a TV program. And she wrote this book and it said, I was always prepared. When you get a break, if you're prepared, you can go on and do it. If you're not prepared or you don't see it. And I guess Alex had that.
The vision for that.
He did.
Yeah.
He didn't say much. But anyway, the lady that was our landlord said she wanted to speak to us one day. And so I said, okay, we'll meet you. So she said, well, I just want to tell you I'm sorry, but I'm going to raise the rent. And so then my husband spoke. Oh, he goes, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's a good deal we've had. But anyway, I bought the corner and I'm going to make another store there. And she said, what? Oh, she almost had a nervous breakdown on the spot. She said, what do you mean? I've always thought that it was not for sale. I asked several times and it was in probate. And he said, well, it wasn't one day and I bought it. And oh man, she was beside herself. And so she got angry.
Yeah.
And she said, well, then I'm going to have to give you, if you want to buy the what I have. Now I have something that doesn't even have parking. If you built, she was so angry. And my husband said, okay, I'll buy it. And so he bought it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now he had that. Why do you want to do that? I go, I'm tired already. I can't go on like this. Oh, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I have to work a little bit more. So one day I opened the store and I get held up. 2 guys went in there. They had guns and I got held up. So it was a trauma for me. As soon as the police went and they left and all this stuff. And I said, we're selling the store. I'm not going to have it one more minute. And my husband, no, just a little bit more. I go, no.
Put your foot down.
And I called my brother. He was in real estate.
Uh-huh.
And I said, come over here and sell this store. I don't want my sons to work. I don't want my husband to work. And I'm not working.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
At 10 years. I go, no, I don't want it. And so he came and my husband told him, and I don't even know how much. He just said, I don't want a penny under. And he still remembers. And I should ask because I don't know how much he sold it for, but he sold the land, the business, and the property.
Yeah.
Sold the whole thing. And now we had money.
That was like the first time you're like, okay.
Without.
That was like where you didn't feel like it was tight. It was like, okay, we have a good bank.
Well, to
bank
start
account
with,
here.
Okay, we sold it. I thought, whew, we're going to have money. Because the next day, my brother got there. He made flyers. He went around the neighborhood giving the flyers that it was for sale. And that evening, there was 3 couples that wanted it. So then he said, okay. My brother said, in the kitchen, each couple go in there, write down what their top
offer is. Yeah.
What they're going to give, the top offer. And it's going to be secret. And then the other couple will go, and then the other couple. So the one we sold it to, I think he went like 2 or 3 times more than what we were asking.
Wow.
Because my husband was going by the price, but what he had paid for it.
Uh-huh.
But now, 10 years had gone by.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, goody. And
you can relax.
That was
now.
my thing.
Yeah. So you get this huge offer.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay,
my brother is working for the cousin that's a lawyer.
Okay.
He's a CPA. He's doing his business, as a CPA. And so he goes and tells my cousin. So here, I went. He told him, I'm going to go.
Like,
She's
hey,
gonna
Alex
sell.
and Connie got a bunch of money in the bank.
No. So he went back and he said, we sold it.
Yeah.
And he calls me. My cousin calls me and he goes, don't touch that money. Why? I go, here, I'm all excited. As soon as escrow goes through, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, don't touch it. You're going to do a trade.
Yeah.
But
529.
you cannot touch it.
Right.
He goes, I'm going to go over there. And he was always taking care of me.
Right.
And that helped.
Right.
Of us, I should say, because Alex was always sitting in whenever I went to do taxes, he would just sit there. He wouldn't say nothing, but he'd listen.
Right.
And so he came almost running. Don't touch it. If you touch it, then we can't do this.
Yeah.
And otherwise you're going to have to pay big bucks.
So it's like almost like this, it was like this slow ramp up. And then it sounds like, there's this big sale and now all of a sudden things start picking up really quickly, huh?
Well,
like
yeah.
just,
And so
you needed to spend the money.
it was like we had to buy.
Yeah.
Now we
Yeah.
had to buy something.
When you think back, and we can't go through every single property, but like when you think back on the whole experience, it sounds like those first 10 to 15 years were like roll up your sleeves, really, really grind. And then, some good things, some dominoes started falling in place. And then did it get easier after that? Grandma, if you reflect back on this whole experience, like I'm hearing two people that were extremely driven, that pushed themselves physically, mentally, everything. I mean, not everybody could do that. So where do you think that came from?
Because my mother and dad were an example. When we would go to Santa Barbara, and my kids can tell you, I mean, I'm telling you the truth, there'd be a note on the stove. We are at this party. You guys are invited. There's food on the thing. Here's a number, call, and they'll watch the kids. Mm-hmm. Or you can go and take the kids because it's a family thing and we're over here. They always went out. They didn't let all this work get them down, And so I'd be so tired sometimes. I'd get home. I want to go to bed. But how could I? With 4 kids, they all have to have their homework. They all have to do their chores. They all have to do, and my husband's working until somebody relieves him and then he can come home. That's not at first. But afterward, we ended up having a man that would go. He was a security guard. Mm-hmm. And then he said he could do the store. And so he'd go. So that would give us, and then we'd go to the show, just the two of us, go to see a movie. Yeah. We get out of all this stress. It was stressful.
So you said you had good examples, but you still make it sound like it was just...
We were happy. We didn't let it get to us. We didn't get into, we have to work, we have to do this. No. If something came up, okay, take a shower and go and try to make the best of it. And you need it. You can't just be working. It doesn't work.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to tell you something now that it's going to make me a little bit emotional. It's already starting to. I've wanted to start a business as long as I can remember. Like I said, I started with the properties and that's going well. But I have some ideas on some other things that I want to work on. And now I'm seeing where I get it from. Like I go to work, I come home, I play with the kids. And then when they go down, I want to be learning new things and new skills and looking at new businesses. And I had a dream last week. I don't have dreams like this very often, but let me tell you, try to get it out. It was Grandpa, and he was back here, back of your house where he used to work in his workshop. And, he used to watch us after school. So I remember going back there and I would always see him. I know he had already spent the day at the apartments working on things, but it just seemed like he liked being back there working with his hands. And, he had the pencil behind his ear and he was...
Well,
let me get...
Just relax a little bit. Take a deep breath.
And
you were so good. He would tell you, go sit down right there in the step that's there going to our room. Sit right there. I don't know what you were doing, but he told you to go sit. Eddie, he would tell him, do this. And 2 minutes later, he's under the truck and he's under the, Eddie wouldn't. And one day he comes in and I go, where's Paul? And he goes, oh my God, he's still sitting there where I told him to sit. And he ran over there to get you because you behaved, or you'd sit with a worker. This is Grandma. I said, come on inside and I'll make you a sandwich. You get a tortilla and you put stuff in it. Oh, you want a taco? Yeah, like I tell Martha, Paul's expectations are a little bit low. He needs to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So let me try this again. So just like that. So I came in this dream. I came to your house just like I did when I was a kid. Go out the back. And this time I'm just in the dream, just watching him work. Oh, we don't have a conversation, but he like looks up.
Yeah.
Then I wake up and
you don't know all the dreams I've had.
It was a very intense dream, but I woke up so happy.
Well, now I'm not getting so many dreams, but for a while there and everything that was going on, I swear he must have somehow told me because I knew what was going on.
Yes, I just think he must know that I'm having a lot of thoughts and ideas that are going through my head right now. And
they say when people die that you put them up and everything, but he used to think so much, but he never really talked about it.
Right. No, he didn't.
But he had all this in his head.
Right.
And he'd come up with like that about giving me the money. From now on, this is the way it's going to be. And we never argued over money. And couples, that's the big thing. Argue over money because it's an important part of living. And if your wife isn't with you, the couple have to be together on it. You have to. You can't do it by yourself. So
I guess just to summarize, I grew up watching you guys do this and just admiring you being an entrepreneur, working for yourself. I saw the joy and happiness of being your own boss, of building something for yourself, building a business that can support a family. And just like you said, enjoying life the whole time. And so that's always been something that I've aspired for and I've done very well professionally, but it's not the same as building something.
Well, like I say, but you have to do it in a way that you don't get so intense that has to be your whole world.
Right.
It can't be. You can't do that. Your whole body can't take it.
Yeah.
You can't. And a lot of people, maybe we had a lot of luck, or look at all these things that happened. We weren't prepared. We didn't think about it. Just the way I tell you, that's the way it happened. But we were ready. Well, Alex was ready with the money.
Yeah.
He decided he's going to do this.
Anyways, I feel this very, like I said, so just like you, I felt like I had the example in front of me growing up. And so I'm kind of in a place where I want to try to make those things happen.
Well, like I say, it's good that if we gave you an inspiration, but I'm telling you the truth, how it happened.
Yeah.
And most of it that we were happy. We were happy as a couple.
Right.
We understood each other. I don't know why. Luck? I don't know.
I think you guys knew what you were doing the whole time.
And I would see his brother with doing so much, but I would think, man, I could never be married to him. He's too controlling, and Alex wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't controlling, and I wasn't trying to control him either. It was not we're not doing this, know. See, he'd get mad and I'd get mad. No, I'd tell him, I'm not a yes person. I'm not going to say yes. If I don't believe in it, no. And he'd argue, we'd argue like, oh, bed of roses.
Yeah.
But we weren't fighting about things that were personal. We were fine.
When you think back now at what you and Grandpa were able to accomplish from a business standpoint, from a family standpoint, like, what do you think? And I know it's hard to use the word legacy.
No, I know what you mean.
What do you hope?
Look, sometimes I sit here, I'm all by myself, and I think, not even in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would have. It's a beautiful house, everything is nice. My aim was never to do that.
Yeah, no, you guys have never been driven by money.
What I wanted was a house that was beautiful and the right thing. And
so you're starting to say, as you sit here, you have a lot of time to reflect. Like, how do you summarize what you guys were able to accomplish? Like, when you think back on it,
well, what I was telling you, I started to tell you that I look at things and my kids and how things have turned out. I'm very proud of them. And I think, man, not even in my wildest dreams did I ever have this in my head. I just lived the way I was taught from my parents. because that's what you do. You learn from your parents.
Right.
And thank God they weren't people that had vices. They weren't, always being nice to everybody, and their house was always open. And my dad, he could have been really rich because he had 3 stores at one time, but they always helped the whole family, always helping. But he had enough,
Right.
He was happy. And when my dad died, my mom, she was still there. Oh, I don't know if I have enough. Go, Mom, you have enough. And if you don't, we're here. You don't have to worry. And so that's the way we felt because that's what we saw. It's nothing that you're thinking, oh, well, I want to do this. Well, maybe some people do.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Well, Grandma, I really appreciate everything that you've done. And yeah, just know that I think it's not just me. I think all your grandkids at this as an inspirational story. And yeah, we feel very fortunate.
To me, it was never about the money.
Right.
It wasn't. Maybe because I never needed anything as I was growing up. It didn't get in my head. Yeah. And I don't know why. But and never, I like nice things. And I like to go to places and everything. But it wasn't my thing that, oh, God, I have to do this or else I'm going to fall apart or whatever. Right. No. So
we love
I was lucky. And I had things. And I had a husband who gave me everything. So I didn't need anything.
All right.
But like I say, maybe it was a lot of luck.
I don't think so.
I think
you guys
but
navigated it like experts and did a great job.
But I could hardly wait to get rid of everything.
Thank you for telling these stories. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Like I say, I hope it can help, but
it will. It absolutely will.
Yeah.
All right. Love you.
But for your own, just relax and try to just take life
breaths.
the way it comes.
All right. Thanks, Grandma.
Okay.
¿Está buena la cerveza?
Yeah, you want some?
Huh?
You want this one?
¿Qué que no hay ahí?
You want one?
Pues más igual. ¿Que no hay más?
Sí. I get it.
Pues vamos echando.
The Rockies ain't too far from here if we drive all night. The cold air will do you well in the mountain morning light. So let's ride on through the rain. Come on and take me anywhere that you wanna be. Let's ride, let's follow the skyline.